And we continue to hear of Central Texans who have family or friends among those wounded in Israel. KXAN's Grace Reader is learning how a violent history could explain the present-day gruesomeness of war.
Now, Grace spoke to a nationally recognized expert in the psychology of terrorism and hostage negotiation about her experience in Israel and what could happen next.
Another colleague of mine said that terrorists dragged her neighbor and children from their home.
Americans with ties to Israel worried about the people they know in the region who are now part of a conflict a professor of history and public affairs at UT describes as the most serious in the region in 5 decades. Hamas, a terrorist organization that governs Gaza, unexpectedly attacked Israel over the weekend.
Everyone has seen the videos of families whose children were at the concert or somewhere else and have been kidnapped and killed. And the terrorists in Gaza have proven they're capable of entering and exiting Israeli society. Imagine if that were the case in the U.S. Imagine it, not just one day's 9/11, repeated.
Monday, Hamas threatened to kill hostages and broadcast those executions. We talked to a national expert in the psychology of terrorism and hostage negotiation with experience in Israel.
The single greatest indicator of future behavior is past. So past violence increases the risk of future violence. So I think there is considerable cause for concern.
That expert walked KXAN through negotiation red flags and says right now there are a lot of them.
And I would strongly suspect that meanwhile the authorities and the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, are pursuing tactical options.
Another unknown, the extent of Iran's involvement in the future, something this professor says would have profound impacts.
Israel and Iran are 2 major, powerful armies in the world. And the United States would have a hard time staying out of that war. So this is very dangerous for all of us.
Grace Reader, KXAN News.
The professor goes on to explain why the United States is so closely tied to Israel. He says Israel has been our most reliable ally in the Middle East in ideology and in fighting terrorism in that region. He says the U.S. has strong religious connections, both from Jews and Christians as well. And because of the economic connection the United States has to Israel, not just in oil, but in fields like technology as well.